Open your mind.
Now, you asked a personal question about our interfaith household. And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not in a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But, thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Ole Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family, and you trust in God to have a plan, and you try to follow it as best as you can, and that's what I try to do.
She's a fugitive.
CERN, the home of the Large Hadron Collider, and behind me is a statue of Shiva, who danced the universe into existence according to Hindu belief. Now, many conspiracies have been developed to the purpose of the statue here, but the main purpose is that the government of India donated this statue to CERN as a gift because many Indian professors work here at CERN. And you can see that the statue is undergoing this dance right here. It's pretty cool.
Let's call that evidence.
Yeah.
It's physical, it's tangible, it's right there in our face.
Right.
If we accept the symbology they have presented, which is demonic in origin,
yes,
their statues, their videos, and we take that at face value as definitive evidence to the hidden agenda,
right,
we can say there's the machine, the most powerful machine, the largest machine ever created in recorded history of mankind, and that is definitive proof that we have a problem. This is a extinction level event, this opening of the portal. If we look at the wars...
Did you say extension or extinction?
Extinction, I'm sorry.
Extinction level, okay.
If we look at the wars that are going on right now, imagine if that portal was opened. The key to the bottomless pit is the Large Hadron Collider. If they were to turn that key and open that doorway and we were flooded, the wars would seem insignificant and all the other ills of the planet compared to the opening of this portal. This is why it is imperative, because it's right now today, and it's in our face, and it's tangible proof. That breaks down our own veil.
Okay, so Anthony is telling you in a methodical, rational, logical way that we have evidence. The visual pictures, the videotapes, the published statements of the heads, some of the heads of CERN, and they are saying in their videos and the visuals and the evidence that you're talking about, if you showed it in a courtroom, it would be acceptable evidence, of openly demonic worship of Satan, and open admission of many of the agendas that you talked about. Now, since this is true, and it is true because you have evidence to back up what you're saying, and it also, there's no conflict between what you're saying and the Bible. In fact, the Bible would support what you're saying.
Revelation 9.
Revelation 9. And when their hidden agendas, when the fruit of their hidden agendas, when these beings start moving through the portal and entering into the earth, I don't think most Christians are ready for the physical manifestation and the supernatural changes that are going to occur in what we call our present reality. Our present reality is about ready to be violently shaken and reshaped.
Leo, the head of the Roman Catholic Church, recently received a white horse. This horse's name is Proton, which means first or number one in the Greek language. Revelation chapter 6 of the King James Version says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.' And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Revelation chapter 6 and in verse 8 of the King James Version says, "And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." We are in a war for our souls. The Bible says that Satan is the god of this world. Saint Catherine of Siena famously said that if the Pope was Satan himself, she would still worship him as Christ on earth. My friends, we must reject the Roman Catholic dogmas that the Pope is Christ's true vicar and regent on earth. We must reject the Catholic doctrine that the Pope is infallible, and we must reject the idea that the Catholic Church has apostolic succession. Revelation chapter 18 and in verse 4 of the King James Version says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people, that you may not be partakers of her sins, and that you may not receive her plagues.'"
I'm here as the LGBTQ pilgrimage in Rome processes up to St. Peter's Basilica behind me and through the Holy Door. There's a long line of people who have gathered for this historic event. You can hear them singing, they're processing, and there's a joyful atmosphere.
This is the first officially recognized LGBTQ pilgrimage to Rome.
It really is unbelievable. 33 years ago when I started working on this issue, I would have never imagined that I would be here today.
And it wouldn't have happened without Pope Francis, who took bold steps to welcome gay people. Leo XIV looks set to continue that legacy, meeting a leading advocate for LGBTQ Catholics a few days before the pilgrimage.
The message I got from Pope Leo is that he will continue Pope Francis's outreach and his approach of openness and listening. I think that's loud and clear from Pope Leo.
The pilgrimage itself is a sign Leo is building on Francis's reforms, and those processing into St. Peter's felt the historic message of welcome as they walked through the Basilica's Holy Door, a symbol of reconciliation.
It feels like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but I feel strongly about making sure that it isn't a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
It's inspiring for me personally, and I hope it's inspiring for the younger generation who, like many gays, feel that the church doesn't speak to them, and I hope they can see that that's not true.
After decades of LGBTQ Catholics feeling the doors of the church were shut on them, this pilgrimage to the home of the popes sent a message that now they were opening.
Sometimes I wonder if the West is too stupid to survive. Every day I peruse the newspapers and find example after example of what looks suspiciously like self-harm on a civilizational scale. Take this headline from the Catholic Herald. Vatican Library grants Muslim scholars a prayer room. It's a news headline so absurd it could only be true in 2025. According to reports, a Muslim prayer room has been established in the Vatican's Apostolic Library after visiting Muslim scholars complained they had nowhere to pray. And the Vatican, ever eager not to offend, except Catholics, immediately obliged. The Vatican spokesperson told Italian newspapers, "Some Muslim scholars have asked us for a room with a carpet for praying, and we've given it to them." Now, let's not mince words. The theological and symbolic implications here are spectacularly unhinged. Does the Catholic hierarchy still believe in Catholicism? Or has the church just become a sort of an Airbnb for whatever religion needs accommodation? We may not believe in your God, but we're happy to host him, seems to be the idea. Here's the problem. Islam explicitly denies that Jesus is the Son of God. So, by creating within the very walls of Catholic intellectual power a space for Muslim prayer, the Vatican is effectively allowing a rival faith to set up shop on its property. Now, that's not inclusiveness, it's corporate sabotage dressed up as tolerance. Second, Catholics believe salvation comes only through Jesus, so why would they facilitate a form of worship that leads by their own doctrine to spiritual ruin? That's not compassion. It's the religious version of, handing out cigarettes at a medical centre. And third, can you imagine a mosque in Saudi Arabia creating a chapel for Christians to worship Jesus? Of course not. They still believe in something. But in Rome, well, it's almost like inclusivity has become the 11th commandment. Thou shalt tolerate everything, even the denial of thine own faith.
Hey out there, this is Buzz with TheSurvivalBuzz. So as you can see with all these videos, what's going on, I hope you see what's going on. This modern world that we live in, even the Vatican, the Pope, they're trying to intermingle all these religions, all these beliefs, all these gods, even accept gay people, transgendered people, all people, and that if we just believe in God, whoever they think that is, that we're all going to stand at the pearly gates of heaven and go to heaven. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. There's only one path to God, and that is through his son, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. There are no other paths. But this world we live in now, they want everybody to believe that. And this is just the building of the one world religion that we're warned of. The Vatican now having Muslim prayer rooms and LGBT festivals with rainbow crosses and stuff is complete blasphemy. The Pope is supposed to be somewhat of a representative of God here on earth, and I feel like he's doing a really shitty job, honestly. Hold your families close. Hold yourself accountable. Read the Bible. Have a close connection with God. You should be praying multiple times a day for forgiveness and thanking the Lord for everything that you do have, food in your belly, the roof over your head, your family, your loved ones, your friends. Not all of this nonsense. It's complete, utter nonsense. And there will be a time very soon where you will have to stand on your faith and your convictions and probably be put to death. At least in my eyes, that's how I see things going. Stand strong with your faith. Stand strong for your convictions and what you believe in. Don't let anybody sway you from your faith and make you think all this new age nonsense of accepting everybody as they are, and you should love everybody as your brother and sister, as your neighbor. But that's not to say you just lay down all your beliefs, all your faith in the Lord and Jesus, and just be accepting of all this nonsense, because we're headed down a pretty destructive path. Pretty quickly, honestly, and I hope everybody out there can see the writing on the wall for what it is, what's really going on here. You need to be paying attention to all of this. We need to be spreading the good word, the gospel, the truth of Jesus, not putting up with all this new age shit with tarot cards and just loving everybody and accepting them in your home. Would you accept a complete stranger in your home? Would you accept a Muslim in your home that believes that all Christians should be killed? Absolutely not. And if you do believe all that, leave a comment. Enlighten me on why you think this, because it's utter nonsense in my eyes. And I'm not going to put up with it, and I'm not going to be accepting of any of this shit. This is nonsense. And it angers me, and I'm sorry for all the cussing, but this angers me that people like me are looked at like we're insane. They don't even look past their nose, man. They have no clue of the real world around them and what's all the spiritual warfare that's going on, all the evil crap in the world that's going on right now. It's not time to hide. There will be a time when you're going to have to flee to the mountains. You're going to have to flee to the woods. And we're not at that time yet. Right? Our purpose right here, right now on the earth, is to spread the good word to everybody and let them know the truth and not let them get all mixed up in this madness that everybody wants them to be mixed up in. That's not to say you shouldn't accept people. And you know, we all have free will. They're welcome to have their own beliefs, but that's not to impede on mine or your beliefs. Stand strong, people. Stand up for your convictions. Stand on the rock, on what you know is right. Don't believe any of this nonsense. Read your Bibles. Hold God close to your heart, where he's supposed to be. Listen. And God talks to everybody if you're willing to listen. All you got to do is listen. All you got to do is pray for discernment, for strength, for courage, for peace. I've done that in my life, and it has changed my life completely. I no longer struggle with sins and things that I have my entire life. I wasn't raised in the church. I was raised in a broken home, not a religious home. I've been in a church a handful of times in my life till I became an adult. And even now, I don't trust any of the churches out there. That's not to say that there's not some good ones out there, but I haven't found any around me. I've found some really good people online that believe the way I do and have convictions like I do. But this madness is everywhere. Every time you turn around, there's a sign in front of a church saying everyone's welcome with rainbow flags and shit. They've stolen the rainbow. They have stolen God's rainbow. That should anger you right there. You should stand strong on your beliefs, not lay down on this shit. The time has come. The time has come to stand up, people. God bless you all and your families, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Later.